Hi there, welcome to another Assemble This video. I have so much to share today with these three beautiful floral cards and a fun, easy Copic coloring technique. I can't wait to show you how just one main stamp set with three different layouts created this beautiful card set. I'm featuring the In My Thoughts Girl May 2021 Sentiment Kit from Unity Stamp Company. There are two very large, beautiful blooms with a few accent leaves. So pretty to mix and match the images, and then all you need to do is pick one of the perfect sentiments included in the kit. I have all my flowers and leaves already pre-stamped on some Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock with some Copic friendly ink. My two favorites are Gina K Amalgam, which I used here, or Memento Black. So I'm just going to start off by taking one of my Copic colors. I'm only using two colors per bloom. For the yellow, I'm using Y13 and I'm just filling in the entire bloom. I want to make sure that there's a nice saturation of color so it looks fairly even. And I'm using a circular motion and making sure to fill in each portion of that bloom. Super easy, super fast, and I just laid down that first layer of color using the lighter color first. Next, I grabbed Y15, and all I'm going to do is create a bit of a shadow, and I'm doing that in a bit of an arc motion. I'm following the base line of the petal, and I'm doing each petal separately, outlining that, and then just filling maybe a third of the petal in with shadow. It'll be easier to see with these larger blooms here. So first I just trace the edge of the bottom of that bloom, and then I come in and kind of thicken it towards the center and create a bit of an arch. The biggest tip is just to follow the line of that petal and then to fill it in with a bit of a kind of an arch feel, so it's a little bit thicker in the center and thinner on each side. So for our last bloom, we're going to do the same thing. I'm just lining the bottom of the petal, and then there's a perfect example of I created an arch and then I filled that in. So it creates just two colors of shadow and base petal, and we're going to call that bloom done. It's so quick and easy, and it's really pretty, no blending needed. I just really love this idea of coloring. It's super simple, which is right up my alley. Let's do it again with the pink. This is RV23. Again, I'm just going to fill in the entire bloom with this pink color, making sure I get nice coverage, and then I'll come in with my darker color, which is RV25, and create my half circles. I'm following the base of each petal and then creating almost a half moon or an arch, half circle, but the circle or half circle is thicker in the center than it is on either end. So it's tapered. So here's one more example, following the bottom edge of that petal, just creating that line. And then I'll come in and create a bit of a half moon or a half circle shape, and then just fill that in with my darker color. I'm also sort of following the shape of the petal as well. And I just love the way that this creates a shadow. Just two colors are all you need, no blending and no extra work, just super, super quick. For the center, I'm using Y15, and then also I grabbed a bit of orange in YR04. And these flowers are done. Super pretty, super easy. For the leaves, I used the same technique. I just covered them in YG13, and then I grabbed YG17, and I'm going to do two different shadowing techniques. This one I did almost like a teardrop shape, starting at the top of that line and then creating a thicker edge at the bottom. And I did that on 2 leaves, and then for the other 2 leaves I only colored half. I thought the mixing up of the shading would be kind of interesting to the eye, so that's why I kind of mix those up. You could do whatever makes you happy. I just think it's fun to have the 2 different shadowing looks. And here are the leaves. So my flowers and my leaves are all set and ready to go. So let's start building card number 1. I grabbed one of my favorite backgrounds. I'm using this all the time. It's Wonky Stripes. I inked that up in my Misty with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Didn't quite have the alignment right, so I'm sliding my card over so I get that stripe all the way to the edge of my card. Ink that up again, put that down in my Misty, and perfect. Now I'm getting my solid lines. Just going to do that one more time. I just really want a nice solid impression of those stripes. I'm going to take 3 of the blooms that I've colored, and I'm just going to line them up where the split from the stripes and my white part of the card background meet, creating a bit of a border. I'm going to glue that yellow bloom straight down, and then I'll glue the purple one straight down on the card as well. I'm just twisting it, seeing where I want that center to point. So that's what I'm changing up. I don't want them to all point in the same direction. I also only added glue to the center, and then I'm lifting up the edges for a bit of dimension. For the pink, I am going to pop that one up, so I'm doing the bending now, just kind of lifting up the edges so there's a little bit of lift to them. Grab some foam adhesive and then tacking that bloom down right in the center. Next, I'm going to create a bit of a banner sentiment. I'm using the happy birthday sentiment in this kit. Just notched out the end there, and then I'm going to grab some foam adhesive to pop that up so it's at the same level as that pink bloom. Really like the simplicity of this, so I'm just going to add the leaves to either side, just kind of balance them out with the color of the green, and then I'm just going to call this card done. I tacked those leaves down just at the base, lifted them up, and I think that there's enough color and movement going on that we'll move on to card number 2. So I have another sentiment banner, and this one I'm going to punch 2 little holes in the top and turn it into a tag. I'm going to string some burlap ivy string through the center and then just tie it off with a simple little bow. And I've got that down to the size, about to the size that I'll want. Next, we're going to add our flowers, and I want 2 levels for the flowers. So I want that big one straight on the card, and then I think I'll tuck the tag in behind the small one. So I'm going to do the same thing, just add some tape adhesive to the center of that bloom, and then lift up the edges so it has a bit of dimension to it. The smaller bloom I'm going to pop up with some foam adhesive. So I already lifted those edges, and then I'm just going to tack that down when I have a good idea of where that placement is. Just like that. And then the tag I'm going to also pop up with foam adhesive, just like the idea of it being kind of popped off the page. And we'll tuck that in behind that second bloom. Just gonna shrink that bow a little bit and then cut off the tails. Next, I added in the leaves where I thought they looked kind of pretty, and then we're going to finish this one off with some sequins and little gems. Just add a little bit of shine and movement to the card. Great, now for card number 3. I'm super excited about these Say It Big dies. I love the way that they match the Say It Big sentiment, but it's in die form. So I die cut out that birthday sentiment on some copper foil cardstock. And now we're just going to start messing with our layout. I like the idea of kind of different layers with those flowers. So I put the yellow flower straight onto my cardstock. I'm going to pop up this scalloped stitch rectangle kind of in the bottom corner here. And then I'm going to pop up the purple flowers so it's on the same level as the die cut. So we're creating lots of dimension on this card by having different levels for the flowers and the die cut as well. Next, I'm just messing around with the placement of these leaves. We're just going to tuck this guy in and behind the purple flower. My foam tape kind of got in the way, so I'm trimming that down so I can just kind of slide that into position there. Super, again, the tape is only at the bottom of the leaf, so I can kind of lift up the edge so it has a bit of dimension. So this die matches the Say It Big sentiment kit, which is a stamp set. I used the happy from that kit and I stamped it onto a little banner and glued that down to the side here. Next, I'm going to add a bit of glue to the back of the die cut. Just a light amount is all it needs. And then I'm going to place that into position. What's nice about the liquid glue is you can kind of finagle this die into the perfect spots and kind of line everything up. And then once I have it in the spot that I liked it, I used an acrylic block just to kind of tap it down so it got a nice adhesion to the card. So let's take a look at that first card again. I just love those bold stripes on the side of the card to create a bit of a backdrop to those large colorful flowers. For the second card, it's just really simply sweet. Lots of white space and those bold pink flowers just pop off the page. And I just love that simple little bow on the sentiment tag. It's just a perfect little touch. And the last card, it's all about layers, die cuts, and a hint of shine from that copper foil paper. I just love the color combo of the purple and the yellow, just kind of a bit of a surprise. Of course, I'll have the supplies linked in the description of this video. If you have any questions or sweet comment, post below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed creating with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.